Ladies and gentlemen, Kagekaze here to talk about the new Hawken Technician Mech, but not just the mech. Now you're going to get my standard breakdown on this guy, but I don't want to talk about not just the mech, but the patch, the Technician patch that has just come out. And while you're going to get my breakdown of good and bad, honestly, I'm going to tell you right now, this I think is one of the best patches to come out for Hawken since its release. This is a great patch that adds a whole bunch of systems that are really nice, and it adds a mech that just completely changes the game, the face of the battlefield. The Technician mech is basically your healer class, or almost think of him like the medic from Team Fortress 2. He kind of plays kind of like that. Now they've reset some stats. This does come with some bad, as the reset stats mean if you're going to play and go to quick match, you won't have everything unlocked. You'll have to start with team deathmatch. You have to play 3 of those before you can unlock missile assault, and then after that you can just play 2 more matches to unlock siege and deathmatch. That's the standard progression for new players, but for anyone that's been playing for a while, like for instance me, I like siege, I couldn't do that right away. I had to go through a few team death matches. So that does kind of suck. But that's okay. 5 matches, fairly quick, gave me time to play around with the Technician and level him up. Something else that they've added, let's see here, is it in here? Service awards. This is completely new. This is basically your achievement system for Hawken. Completely brand new, 100% shiny, out of the box. And as you can see here, not only do you get achievements, you get rewards for completing those achievements. Not just a shiny achievement points to say, hey, I did this. You actually get Hawken credits, as you can see here, which you can spend towards buying, of course, weapons, mechs, and all that. Now, what they've done is they've lowered the amount of Hawken credits that you'll get in a match because of this. And it seems fine to me, honestly, because I earned a ton of credits in my first couple of matches because I was just getting a whole bunch of these right off the bat. And even better still, I passed it here, they've added this one. If you play the game for simply an hour, they will actually give you 400 meteor points. Not enough to buy a mech, but you could buy pretty much anything, weapon or something like that with that. So it's kind of nice that they actually give you a slight reward for that. It's the only one that I'm aware of that will actually give you meteor points. So let's actually look at our mech. So what else have they added? Well, they've added a few new taunts and things like that. Tons of weapons rebalancing, by the way. So if you've been looking at Hawken but you didn't like the way the balances were, I would suggest looking at the full patch notes. For now, we're going to focus on the mech. That is what this whole series is pretty much about, but I did want to talk about those because I was honestly really excited to check out all those changes. It's been really cool. So the Technician is a light class, type A, so he moves pretty quick. He has a unique weapon, sidearm. Again, this is a dual mode sidearm, so kind of like the Raider, where he has the grenade/missile launcher. This is the Helix Repair Torch. It's dual mode, short range, that repairs allies or deconstructs enemies. While you're repairing allies or deconstructing enemies, you'll also repair yourself. And just like the Raider's weapon, if you push the middle mouse button, it will switch between modes. When you start a game, you start off in healing mode. And honestly, when you first get this mech, I would recommend playing him kind of defensively and passively. He does play a lot like a medic in Team Fortress, so you are going to be doing the healing thing. You're going to make sure that the rest of your team does well. To facilitate this, they've given you yet another brand new weapon that again changes the face of the battlefield. Something that no other weapon has done that I am aware of is the Redox 02. It's a quick-firing projectile weapon. It's a reagent-infused chemical round that causes enemies to take increased damage for a short duration. This stacks up to 3 times. And as you can see, the weapon has very low stats. It's got 2 in the power, 3 in the rate of fire, 2 in accuracy, range, and heat rate. So it is not a great weapon by any means. But that stacking debuff is something that I haven't seen in this game. Now, this seems familiar to me. I seem to remember this from another game, but I couldn't even remember where it was. But that's not a detriment to this game. I mean, that's a good idea, and it's great to see that they've taken that. Because that makes you not only a healer, but you can also attack at the same time. So you're sitting there helping your teammate, you're healing him along, and you can actually fire your Redox O2. So not only are they being healed, you're being healed, but the enemy that they're fighting is going to take additional damage from the mech that you're healing. And they've done it in such a way that the rewards that you get for this work out. A lot of games that have healers or support classes sometimes neglect to reward that character. I can cite things like sometimes Battlefield had issues with that. Team Fortress does a pretty good job of it, but some games struggle with it a bit. And so what happens is as you're healing, you're getting points. And not only that, but the mech you're healing will always give you assists. So they've gone about it the right way. You will still get tons of points, experience, Hawken credits for your efforts in the battlefield. So you don't have to feel like you need to be going out and getting kills. To help you with your healing, you have the Amplification special ability. It greatly increases the repair rate of your Helix Torch for a short duration, and it includes the reconstruction to yourself. So since your repair torch can both heal and basically take apart the enemy, you can use that if like you're going in a fight one-on-one with an enemy and you don't have any other choice. You can use your amplification, keep your secondary weapon on the enemy, and keep yourself healed up, and it will help you in a one-on-one fight. Now, if you find yourself outnumbered, you pretty much want to run away. With this starting configuration, you are very much a support character. You don't do a lot of damage with your main weapon. Your secondary weapon does a decent amount of damage, and it does heal you, but the heat generation, from what I've noticed while playing this mech, is pretty high when you're doing that. If you're spamming both weapons, you're going to run out of heat more than likely just before you end up killing a mech, or just after. It's a very thin line. There were times where I was able to just kill a mech before I overheated, and there were other times where I just couldn't quite do it. So he's not meant to do damage, and it's kind of a balancing act, I think, where if you're going to try and do that, what you might want to do is just keep your torch on them, shoot them 3 times with the Redox, and then wait a bit before firing it again to keep your heat efficient. The problem here is that, of course, I haven't found an indicator that shows that this mech has been hit with that debuff, something to let me know that I need to hit it again. So, like I said, there's a little bad in this patch, but honestly, the bad is mostly nitpicky, and just kind of quality of life. Everything else is so good so far. So let's take a look at this mech, and I can show you that your alternate weapon is the Hawken's RPR. This is the Ripper, which is the exact same weapon that is given to the Reaper. So it is kind of a a mid-range high-fired cannon. You can see it's got much better stats than the starting weapon. So if you want to be more offensive with the Technician, you can do that. You can still heal your teammates if you want, or you can just simply use your alternate weapon to get yourself healed up. So you can be more of a offense unit if you want to with that. So it's nice to see they give you that option. Now, unfortunately, right now, as you can see, there is no prestige weapon, so we don't know what it'll be. Maybe they'll add a new weapon and make that the prestige. We'll have to see. Along with this is a new item that you can use, a blockade. It creates a thin destroyable wall that cannot be penetrated by weapons or players. So you put it down and it's your defensive unit. So if your team is taking damage, you put it down in front of you, you can hold people off. It is a weapon available or a item available to all mechs, but the Technician is the only mech that starts with it at a baseline. Alright, well that's pretty much it for the starting stuff. Let's take a look at our upgrades. So if we take a look at the special weapon that we have, okay, let's look at the very first primary, the Redox. This is the one that's debuffing. At level 1 you're going to get projectile speed buff. At level 2 you will get reduced heat generated, which is nice. Like I said, heat generation is kind of an issue with this mech. And then lastly, Redox gets a half a second effect duration. Well, that's nice. So that's not too bad. So you can fire it less often, keep your heat in a reasonable place. So that's almost like doubling up the heat efficiency on those two. So that's kind of cool to see. As far as the repair torch gets, at level 1 you get a weapon range, so you can heal a bit further. That's nice. Let's see, what else? Repair torch gets a lock-on width, 5% lock-on width at level 2. And at level 3 it gets a 0.15 mode change time reduction. So that's not bad, because I found myself having to change frequently. If I was in the middle of a fight and a teammate got sniped and killed, I'd had to very quickly switch out so I can try and keep myself alive while fighting off the enemy. Now, this will probably be the same on the Ripper as the Reaper, but let's go ahead and take a look at the upgrades for the RPR. Let me see, 5% weapon spread reduction on that one. Level 2, 10% effective range, and level 3 is 5% accuracy recovery. Now, this being a light mech, I normally pick speed when I'm going into my optimization trees, but there's something like about this mech that since you're support, I'm actually going into my defensive tree. You could go wherever you want, but I think this is kind of an interesting build if you want to just be the healer and be out there and making sure that everyone else is the Ubermensch. Okay, the reduced damage, of course, I'm going into the repair rate for myself, but what most interests me, of course, is the decreased amount of heating caused by weapons. And, of course, I can get a little more armor so I can stay out in the fight a little longer. Of course, the offensive tree, if you wanted to go that way, can decrease the amount of heating caused by weapons as well. And, of course, gives you recovery when you're overheated. But I kind of like having a bit more defensive this. Because you heal yourself. You will heal yourself over time, and your mech doesn't actually do a lot of damage with the weapons you were given. So going into the offensive tree would probably be suited if you were going to equip the RPR, the Ripper, and fight that way. Of course, you can always do movement. I like the movement tree a lot on A-class mechs as well. It really depends on what weapons I'm outfitted with and how I'm feeling. You know, obviously all of these points in the trees are kind of minor, but overall you can actually give yourself slight advantages here and there. Yeah, so I'm going to tell you already, I mean, before we go into gameplay, I feel like this mech is worth picking up, especially if you like playing as support. I know I usually kind of give you the impressions and say, you know, if you like this type of gameplay, you might like it or that. It's not often I see a mech that I say, you know what, this is really... I mean, they're all good in their own ways, but this mech, if you are into support... Seriously, this is such a game changer. This is a mech that you're going to probably want to see on your team, at least by one person. It's like having, again, I keep referencing the Team Fortress 2 medic. I mean, that's essentially how this works. So let's go into a game, and what I'm going to try and do is show you guys the new map that was added. That is another reason why I'm in love with this patch. I was getting slightly bored with the fact that there were only 2 maps to play in my favorite mode, Siege. And now there's a third map. And this map is actually a skinned version of a map that we saw in closed beta. I never got to record it and show you guys due to NDA. But it was a really cool map. I like the design. It's been changed up a little bit, and now it's been skinned. It feels so different when they skin things, by the way. So what we'll do is let's try and find my favorite mode of Siege and see if we can get the new map. And what do you know, we are lucky enough to start off with the new map. This is great. Starting off right where I want it to go. So let's go ahead and grab my technician. We are, of course, using the Redox and the repair torch. We'll get in here. Now you may notice something a little bit different. I meant to actually talk about this before getting into a match, but they have actually added the advanced features for graphic options again, and I am able to remove the film grain. The game looks so much nicer to me now. I really like it. I'm just not a big fan of film grain, to be quite honest with you. I know it's a personal style choice, but yeah, that's. I'm glad that they removed it, or at least let me remove it. So let me kind of show you how this repair torch works. If I point at this guy, you can see that there's a thin line that appears. Now you'll notice I'm not generating heat. This weapon will not generate heat. You can see here I'm firing and trying to help my teammate while I'm healing him. This weapon does not generate heat unless you are actually repairing something, and that includes the teammate that you're with or yourself. Let's see if I can't do a little damage to this guy here. Where did he retreat to? Near dead. Oh, let's try and help him out. And a little bit of healing, kind of swapping back and forth. You can see that you can very quickly swap back and forth. See, there you go. That's offense mode. That's defense mode. Offense mode again. Back to defense. Alright, so if he gets into a jam, I can pop my special ability to heal him a little bit more. I'm going to go ahead and go back out of that. going to help do damage here. As you can see, my heat generation is quite high. That's lethal. Oh dear. Oh, hold on. That guy was nearly... crud. Alright. Not off to a very auspicious beginning. Let's give myself a little bit of repairing here. But you can see that really changes the long range game. While you're moving in to do to take a point. Ow. Having, you know, someone heal you while you're hitting them at range can really help, because then you can do a little bit of damage before you get in onto the point. Yeah, unfortunately this looks like it's going to be a bad round, so I will probably... hopefully it returns to this map. If not, I will grab another one for it. And we'll see what we can do with a little bit of teamwork. Uh-oh, what's going on here? Oh, I'm in offense mode. Go in defense, there you go. Get you a little bit of healing. I'm kind of hurt, but as you can see, my health is going up. It's not too much, it's not overpowered. The enemy mechs can very much take your teammate out if they're not careful. So you have to play kind of, not really passively, but you have to be very cautious. Oh well, that wasn't a great match to go off of, so we will see what we can do with another match. Alright, here we go into frontline with Siege. Oh man, this feels so very different from back when I played it on closed beta. The general outline is still kind of here. Alright, I'm going to kind of guard these guys while they're collecting energy. Now you can actually heal things like this turret, by the way. So you can repair any unit that needs it. Now while we're here, we're waiting for energy since not a lot's happening. They've also changed radar and how that works. There's actually reason to get extended radar. There's reason to get reduced signature now. What they've done is they've made it so that you no longer generate a signature on radar if you're just walking or running. If you're boosting or firing, then you do. And of course, line of sight is counted as well, and as you can tell, the radar in the upper right has actually been tucked in just a little bit more, so you don't see quite as much. So they've made it so that information on the battlefield is far more important now. You kind of have to watch out where people are. You can't just, because before you could just take a look at your radar and get a rough idea that someone was nearby. See, now I can see there's someone kind of towards the right there of me. I can see them on the very edge of my radar. And there they are. Let me switch over to offensive mode. Trying to give him the debuff and keep it on him. There we go. I didn't even get an assist on that one? Horrible. Okay. So one thing I've noticed with this primary weapon that does the debuff, I'm wondering if maybe the heat generation on it isn't just a little high. As you can see there, it doesn't take much to fire to basically get my heat up. So I'm wondering if maybe it does need a little bit of tweaking, especially since the weapon itself really isn't that strong. Now it does cause a debuff on the enemy that makes them take more damage. I mean, obviously I can see that being an issue. So we'll have to see. Honestly, I've had some pretty good matches with it. It's just, again, you do kind of feel the underpoweredness of it when you're in kind of a one-on-one environment. And obviously this mech was not designed to go one-on-one. So really, to say that it's underpowered at this point is probably bad. I mean, I don't think the weapon itself really is underpowered, but I feel that maybe the heat generation could be tweaked just a tiny bit, because you really do feel like you start running out of shots pretty quickly. Oh, switching over to offensive mode here. Just kind of holding down the, there we go. Oh, get out of there. No, not enough. Wow, I took damage from like 4 different sources. That's crazy. So I was trying to, you know, get a few shots off and make sure that my team could do a bit more damage. Unfortunately, it looks like we are not going to be getting... Yeah, there goes the... Darn it. Okay, that's alright. Let's go ahead and heal this guy. 2 of us healing will help. You see, there's the heat generation. Wow, there's 3 of us healing this guy. This guy is not going to die. He should move. He should go in. We're all getting healed, and he's basically... Every time a rocket hits him, he's getting the health back, pretty much. So just like in Team Fortress, if 2 medics decide to heal each other, they also get quite a bit of a boost. Gosh, I am... I don't know what our plan here is. I'm running out of... or basically, I'm going to overheat. Let's just... I overheated again. And I got an achievement for it, by the way. So yes, you get rewarded for overheating. It's hilarious, really. But that's okay. Oh, hey, bubbles will block the healing rate. Just, there you go. That's good to know, honestly. So if your teammate has a bubble on them, you have to get inside the bubble in order to heal them. So be wary of bubbles. If you're a technician, then you might want to be aware that about that if you were planning on carrying a bubble around with you. Alright, I just popped my ability. You can see the healing beam has turned green. So I am healing much faster than normal there. That is the special ability. Doesn't last for too long. Just enough to really get someone healed up to full. And maybe just a little bit longer than that. Okay, let's try and... Come on. Yeah, there's the heat. See, I can't really take... I came close. I came close. Almost got him, but it just wasn't enough. Oh, wow. Okay. There is a problem here with this part of the wall. I have no idea if... I can't shoot through. I'm hidden in the wall. Oh, wow. I found a bug. Isn't that fantastic? Okay, well, it's recorded here, and hopefully they will take a look at this and know there's a problem. Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear, oh dear. This isn't good. 1 technician, 2. We've got 1, 2, 3. We've got 4 technicians. This is bad. So basically what's happening here is the technician is the flavor of the month. It is just released, so everybody wants to play it. Everybody wants to try it. There's really not a problem with that, but when you've got a team that's all technicians, then it gets pretty bad. It's like having a team that's all medics in TF2. At least, well, the medic in TF2 actually can do quite a bit if he's played well. This guy can too, but the weapon I'm using right now is not designed for it. If I wanted to be offense-minded right now, I would want to switch over to the RPR. Unfortunately, they still haven't added a system to where you can change out weapons in the middle of a match. You still have to go back to your garage and change it. So, I'm hoping they add that eventually. It was in closed beta back when you did that, but they changed the game so dramatically since then, how weapons are unlocked, that I don't know how easily it would be to add. See, at this point, we're getting wrecked, and where is the battleship? It's right there. Look at that. I'm going to get a little bit of experience by killing the turrets, at least. Oh, jeez, that hurts. I'm going to put down... Oh, there's the wall, by the way. I forgot to mention that. I talked about it, of course, in the loadout screen, but... Am I going to die? I'm going to die. Cool. That's cool. Really, really cool, guys. Whatever. Oh, man. So, yeah, unfortunately, this mech is not designed for heavy combat, and unfortunately, no one is pushing properly. With all the medics we had, if our heavy would have kind of maybe moved in instead of staying past, we might have been able to get in there, but seriously, this is just not... this composition is not going to work. unfortunately. So while you want to have a technician on your team, too many technicians is going to kill your team. So you have to balance it out. If you're going to play the technician, just take a look, make sure no one else is already doing it. Make sure that your team really could use another one would be the best thing I suggest. I think any team would benefit from having at least one. Oh, there is a slight arc on this, I do believe, by the way. That's what you're seeing there as I'm kind of aiming upwards. Oh, jeez. Come here. I'm going to use my special ability and heal myself a bit more unless it didn't work. Oh, what is that? I right-clicked and it didn't activate. Oh, well. As you see, you do a decent job by yourself. Unfortunately, again, you don't have the power. You're not designed to do that. You are very much a support. Seriously, this right here is like having too many snipers in Team Fortress. It's just way too much. This is overkill. Looks like one person decided to go sharpshooter. We'll have to see how that works out. I don't have any teammates. Honestly, what I would normally recommend, and I'm not doing it right now, is to make sure you always have a teammate, that you're with teammates. And this just this is just bad all around. I'm by myself. Oh my goodness, I survived quite a bit of that simply because I was repairing myself. I used my special ability and repaired myself. So you can see there, played right, you might be able to do something. If you've got the sufficient skill, you could probably very well go one-on-one with another mech. If you're both of equal skill, though, I would say you'd have a decided disadvantage. I'm just really happy to finally see a support type of mech in this game. You know, I would like to see more, really. I don't know what they could add, but I would love to see more. I really think this shows that they've got, they're really thinking of this game creatively. They're really, they want to add, oh jeez, he's behind me. Yeah, I'm just going to put that up. Oh, this is not the best representative sample size, is it? I want to change out, but of course this video is designed to give you a review of the technician, and a wonderful mech he is. Just unfortunately, like all things, in moderation is the best way to handle it. Yes, we are basically repairing each other left, right, and center, and it is basically making it so all we're doing is kind of circling each other, not doing anything. Oh man, this is yeah. So unfortunately, I can't really tell if using the secondary weapon is worth it for the damage. It feels like the primary is the one that's more suited for doing damage. I think the secondary, while it does take off enemy armor, doesn't do a lot. So you're probably better off just constantly using the primary. But again, because of your lack of any other weaponry, though, it seems that you would want to keep using the secondary because it's going to keep giving you armor and help you survive. But then there's the heat issue to consider. Honestly, in this circumstance, I would say just make sure you're with a teammate. This configuration is not well designed for doing anything other than healing. So what I'll do is let's get this over with. I'll leave this. Let's see if I can't find something a bit better. And let's show the offensive configuration of the Technician with the Ripper. I think that'll be good. Alright, so let me cut it off here. Alright, much to my dismay, I could not find any missile assaults, which I feel is one of the better modes to play this guy in. But hey, we're going to do Siege. As we can see here, this guy needs quite a bit of healing. Let's help him out. I have got the Ripper. We're going to be a little more offensive and see how this works. Switching over to damage model. There we go, grabbing myself some healing while I do damage. Go ahead and pop my special ability so I can repair more. Let's go ahead and get out of there. And look at this. I mean, this is a weapon designed for damage, and it feels like the heat generation on the Ripper is a little better than the one that's meant to cause debuffs. And that one has a slower rate of fire and just doesn't do as much damage. I'm thinking that does need to be reevaluated. And I'm really sad that the sample for that, for the healing build, wasn't that great to be able to show them a good match of that. Because I feel that this mech is actually very good. I feel that it can really change the whole landscape of playing this game. You know, being able to help repair someone that's had to fall back, being able to repair someone while they're going into the front lines. It really, honestly, a good medic or a good healer or repair technician, whatever you want to call it, is one of the most valuable things you can have for your team. Any team that has a healer typically has longer lifespans and, of course, is able to push harder and further. That's assuming, you know, equal skill and all that. So let's see if we can't help get a launch. And we probably don't have near enough. I mean, I know I'm full, but unless other people have plenty of that. Well, we got a few people putting back energy, so maybe we'll be able to launch at least. That'll at least slow them down. But we really do need to take the AA tower, so let's go ahead and try and do that now. The Ripper is definitely a weapon I did like on the Reaper when I was playing it, so I'm thinking this might be kind of fun to try. I really want to find out what the prestige weapon is going to be, because seriously, when you've got a mech like this that can heal other mechs and itself... Ooh, help this guy, hold on. See, this will help him get back into battle faster. Not only that, but I took a little damage, and now I am actually back up to full because of the healing I did. Just look at that, that's actually some pretty decent damage there. So right now I'm less concerned about actually doing any healing, more concerned with just doing damage. But here, as I pull back around the corner, I can sit here and actually repair that guy. It helps repair me. You know what, I'm going to use my ability. Let's get him back into the fight. Come on, buddy. We need to move in. Even with all this healing, we're just not pushing. Swapping over to offensive mode. He was pulling out. Let's make sure he can't get away. Let's put that down. Stop them from coming in that way. Uh-oh. So tearing away at their armor with the Ripper and the healing beam. Nice. This is feeling good. This is feeling good. I kind of like this mech offensively. I always liked playing a combat medic in Team Fortress, so this is kind of fun. But I also like support, right? So obviously I like the idea of debuffing the enemy so that my team does better. See, the problem with this mech is really not a problem with the mech at all. The problem is, if you're going to be doing the healing model and you're going to be debuffing the enemy, ooh, that hurt, then really you're only as good as the person you're helping. So it really, you depend a lot on your teammates. And so that means if your teammates aren't up to par, you basically sit there healing, and it does your team a heck of a lot of nothing. Oh boy. Let's put that down for now. Oh, they're hitting my blockade. Oh, they're hitting me too. Ah, I'm dead. No. No, I was shot down in my prime. Oh, well. I'm having fun with this so far. 4-1, not bad. That's pretty good for a healing mech, eh? Yeah, honestly, the Ripper is a fantastic weapon to combine with this guy. It gives him just the offensive nudge he needs if you want to play a bit more offensively. So, if you like being support, but you want to be a bit more helpful as far as damage is concerned, I would recommend the Ripper. If you want to be purely support, if you maybe you're not great at shooters, or maybe you just like being the pillar that holds your team up, then I would recommend going with the Redox and just essentially debuffing the enemy so that your team can get the kills. If you've got a good team that's working well together, if your teammates are, are capable, then being the support mech is honestly more valuable than what I'm doing right now. I'm doing an offensive. I'm being very offensive right now. That's pretty standard in Hawken, right? This is how you fight without a heal. Before this mech was introduced, you go out, you do damage, you kind of pull back a bit. But my team could do so much more if I could just debuff them and they do a bunch of damage. The idea is that if you debuff an enemy mech, he's going to take more damage than the damage I would do by myself, right? So whatever damage I'm doing right now is fine, but I could technically be doing more. That's an enemy technician. I don't know what he's really trying to get at there just by standing there and fighting me straight up. Oh, well. That feels good. Let's help this guy, actually. Oh, dear me. I'm trying to heal myself here. I'm going to use my special ability. Kill him. So yeah, maybe this is hopefully a better idea. It gives you a better idea of this mech. It's great because you can do damage and you can still heal. So here I am. I'm going out there. I can keep my weapon in offensive mode if I really want and just constantly be fighting. I don't have to help my team. But quite honestly, if you're out there and you're fighting with your team and you can put out that quick heal that's basically saves a life, that's going to be far more valuable than the damage you do. Quite honestly, it's an amazing thing what this one small addition to the game can do. It keeps me alive, it keeps them alive. I'm taking a lot of damage from the side, so let's kind of pull back. Even here, even if I were not to heal in the front lines, like let's say I'm doing this offensively like I am now, and I go out there and I never heal while I'm out in the front line. But maybe what I might do is go out, fight for a bit, and then when I go back to repair, I get my friends up and back into the battle before I repair myself. I mean, that's a very valid strategy. So maybe you don't want to be the frontline healer. You want to go out and do damage, but you also want to be able to do something else. So you could do that. You could also grab the repair tool. Oh dear, how did they get behind us? Oh well, doesn't matter. Let me help you. You took quite a bit of damage. And the beautiful thing is I'm healing him and it's helping me get healed as well, which will shorten the duration that I need to do this. Feels good, man. It really does. Honestly, I think I'm liking him a little better as a bruiser, going out there doing damage and just healing on occasion rather than being a full-time healer. But again, I think that really depends on the team. The problem with the mech, again, is really not with the mech. It is with the team. You have to have the team to support the support mech. Really is what it comes down to. Well, ladies and gentlemen, that is the technician mech for Hawken, and again, I'm in love with this guy. Last night, I wish I would have recorded last night's session, to be honest with you, because there was so much that went right in that. I was supporting my team as a healer mech. Whenever my team got separated, I was able to go toe-to-toe with quite a few people. It was kind of a smaller match, though, and it was honestly with a lot of people that were fairly decent. We were all fairly, I'd say fairly average and amongst our own skill levels, so it didn't feel bad at all. We were all doing pretty well, and unfortunately that last match just didn't quite feel like that. So hopefully I didn't get you a bad impression with that last round, but maybe this one piqued your interest a little more. I mean, you can see there I did pretty good coming in a bit late into this match. So there you go, ladies and gentlemen. The technician. I like him. I suggest him. Play him as a support. This is Hawken. And I'll see you next time.